Hey guys, it's Girl Got Game, and welcome to another Gander video. Today, I am checking out a beautiful looking visual novel by Lyria called My Path. Now, this visual novel is already finished, and it's completely free on Itch.io, so I will have a link to that down below. But Lyria reached out to me over email and asked if I would mind checking out her visual novel today, and I was like, yeah, of course, because I've seen quite a bit of art of these characters pop up on my Twitter feed. I was like, man, that looks so pretty. So yeah, I'm excited to check this out and see what we've got going on here. The story for My Path is... My Path brings you the story of a world facing a crisis. You will play as a young and skilled researcher called Anna, who has to decide how she is going to help in the fight against a mysterious disease that claimed countless victims and left others in a confused and violent state. To find a solution for this crisis, two groups were organized: the field unit and the research centers. While one is dealing with the people that got infected, the other is searching for a cure. So you can probably guess which one is warrior soldier boy and which one is scientist researcher boy. I'm kind of leaning toward researcher boy just off of looks right now, but he also looks like a fun time. But anyway, let's begin and see what we've got. From what I understand, each guy has one good end and one bad end each, and 3 CGs each as well. So let's begin and see what's going on. Over the last few months, our world has been facing a horrible crisis. A mysterious disease spread and claimed countless victims within a few months. Most people who got infected died within a few days. But some began to lose consciousness and became violent, attacking anyone around them. Months have passed since the first case of the disease, but no one could find a cure. The number of deaths was growing every day, and the infected who turned violent were starting to get completely out of control. Entire cities and towns had to be evacuated to keep the population safe from the sudden attacks. To try to find a solution to this crisis, two groups were organized. The field unit, created by soldiers and researchers, aimed to collect samples and contain the advance of the violent infected, keeping people safe. And the research centers, organized with scholars and alchemists, were tasked with the development of a cure to end this crisis once and for all. This music is really pretty. Both groups are accepting volunteers with a variety of abilities that are willing to do whatever it takes to help. With everything that's going on, I couldn't stand still. I want to do something to help. I just need to decide which group I should join. So right off the bat, they, no context as to, who the characters are other than looks. You're just like, okay. And a description. So field unit, you will use all your abilities to collect samples and help the soldiers. Be prepared to spend weeks in a camp settled near a forest. I like that the respective guys are behind the units they're associated with, so you at least know whose route you're going for. That's great. And research centers. You will use all your abilities to assist in the research to find a cure. Be prepared for long hours in the library and the laboratory. Okay, well, my heart, as much as I like the looks of this guy, my heart is drawn to this more so. So let's join the research centers. Okay. I love we have a sprite down below. Cool. My decision was to join the research centers. I packed my things, and the next day I left for the research center I was assigned to. Ooh, nice. I followed the instructions I was given and entered a huge library. I went straight to the reception, but there was no one there. I looked around to see if I could find anyone who could help me. The place was full of researchers, but they all seemed pretty busy and focused on their tasks. I got distracted looking at everything, and suddenly I felt a push followed by the sound of several books falling to the floor. Hello, Tessa?
Oh, I'm sorry. Are you okay? I shouldn't carry so many books at once.
She started picking up the fallen books, and I decided to help.
Thank you. I don't remember seeing you here before. Is this your first day?
Yes, I just arrived. Actually, I was looking for someone to give me instructions.
Oh, of course. You must be Anna. I was waiting for you, but I had to leave for a few minutes to take care of some chores. My name is Tessa. I am responsible for the library and for organizing the schedule of all the researchers who are working here. Thank you for choosing to join our research center. We need a lot of help around here. Come with me. I'll show you the place and explain how everything works, then we'll talk about your tasks.
Tessa led me through the library hallways, indicating where everything was. She showed me the dorms and gave me the key to one of the rooms where I would stay. Then we walked among the bookshelves and desks crammed with books as she explained to me about the organization of the library. Everywhere was full of researchers and scholars like me hunched over large tomes. Some of them seemed focused on their reading. Others showed some signs of exhaustion, as if they had spent a few sleepless nights. Okay, nice. I say they seem pretty dedicated.
Yes, most of the people who came to help us are hard-working. Everyone is doing their best to contribute to the researches.
At that moment, I realized how hard our task was. The responsibility of finding the cure for a mysterious disease that had already claimed so many victims. All the research and tests done so far had no results. No one was able to find anything that could be effective against the disease. These people have been here for a few months and still didn't find any solution to this problem. I just hope I can contribute in some way.
By the way, I saw in your file that you have other skills besides being a researcher.
Yes, I have training in a few other things. I know the basics of alchemy, herbalism, first aid, etc.
That's great! I hope you're willing to use your other skills to help us.
Isn't the work here just related to the research to find a cure?
That's definitely the main job. But we have some other responsibilities too. I think your knowledge of alchemy will be very useful.
Okay. I'm glad to hear that this knowledge can be useful.
It will be incredibly useful. It's nice to have people with several skills and willing to help. Continuing to talk about the research center, all the work here is funded by the most important lords in the country. They provide the resources to keep this and other centers running. Each research center has a master responsible for organizing the work and analyzing the results we get every week. The one in charge of this research center is Master Albion.
Oh, he's a master.
He is very committed to the work we do here and dedicates a lot of his time to the researches. He's kind of obsessed with his work. Spends hours and hours in his office. Sometimes I wonder if he ever leaves that office.
Well, speak of the devil. Are you going to complain about my working hours, Tessa?
Master Albion! Sorry, Master, I didn't mean to offend.
Master Albion seemed to be quite serious and grumpy. I was worried he was going to scold Tessa, but he just sighed as if he was used to hear that kind of comment. Oh, don't worry about it.
It's rare to see you around here, Master. How can I help you?
I just need to check some reports with the researchers. I looked in my office, but couldn't find any.
The reports are not there. Perhaps I forgot. Damn, I think it's my fault, Master. But don't worry, I'll fix it right away.
I'll take care of it, Tessa. You can focus on your other tasks. He stopped for a moment and paid attention to me, wide eyes. Is this one of the volunteers who came to help us?
Yes, Master. This is Anna.
It's nice to meet you, Master Albion. Welcome, Anna. I hope you can contribute to our research. Now, if you'll excuse me, I need to take care of other things. He walked past us without saying anything else.
I can't believe I forgot those reports. I've been so busy lately that it's been hard to keep up with everything. But it doesn't matter now. Come on, I'll show you the back part of the library, where we have some study desks and access to the research labs.
We kept walking through the library, but as soon as we turned into a hallway, we heard an explosion!
Oh no, not again.
What was that?
Someone must have messed up the lab again.
Is this normal?
Unfortunately, it's been pretty common. We've been working day and night to try to find a cure, or at least something that can help control the disease. Most researchers are already quite tired, but they are still trying hard to keep working. The exhaustion is making them lose focus. Sometimes those who work in the lab mix wrong ingredients and cause these accidents. I better go over there. Someone might be hurt.
As soon as we entered the lab, I saw that one of the working bench was quite messy and with several broken bottles. Not to mention a dark stain that covered part of the countertop and floor, probably a result of the explosion we heard. Fortunately, the people there didn't get hurt too bad, just a few cuts from the broken bottles. Tessa sent everyone to the infirmary to tend to their injuries and face the mess in the lab.
I'll have to clean all this. And I also need to see what was broken and fill out a form to request more material to replace what was lost.
She gave a weary sigh and started picking up the shards scattered on the floor. Can I help? I was a bit surprised to see her doing this job. I didn't imagine that the person in charge of the library would do the cleaning, too. Don't you have other people to take care of this?
Other people to clean up this mess? Unfortunately, we're short on staff at the moment, and I need to make sure nothing slows down the researchers' work, so I end up helping with these small things.
She went back to cleaning while I watched. Yeah, help her. I bent down and started helping her pick up the shards.
You don't have to do this, Anna. I can take care of it.
It won't hurt me to help you. We'll be able to finish this faster if we share the work.
Thank you.
After a few minutes, a white bird flew into the lab. Oh, it's got a message.
Tessa, I finally found you! I have an urgent message from the field unit. I tried to deliver it directly to Master Albion, but he wasn't in his office.
Well, you arrived in one of the rare times when he leaves that place.
She took out the message the bird was carrying and hurried to read it.
They want another shipment of medicine? But it hasn't been long since we sent the last one. Oh, that's not good, Archie. Master Albion won't be happy about it.
How is he doing?
As always, I guess.
Is he sleeping and eating properly?
Tessa shook her head with a worried expression. Archie just sighed.
Oh, I need to have a serious talk with him.
I don't know if he will listen. But thanks for bringing the message, Archie. I need to finish cleaning up this mess and getting this lab ready to be used again as soon as possible.
Aren't you working too much, Tessa?
I think we all are. We already have so much to do, and we still have to deal with this kind of things.
Don't try to solve everything by yourself. I have more messages to deliver, but I'll be back soon to see how things are going.
The bird named Archie left to deliver his messages, leaving us alone in the lab. I was starting to get worried about the situation. Tessa, is there anything I can do to help?
Oh, actually, there is. Could you deliver this message to Master Albion while I take care of things here?
Sure, I can do that.
I believe he is still in the library. As soon as you get back, I will solve the problem here, and then we can talk about your daily tasks.
I took the message and went back to the library while Tessa dealt with the cleaning. I rushed through the hallways and didn't take long to find Master Albion. Excuse me, Master, I have a message for you. He took the paper from my hand without saying a word. I was silent as he read.
How do they manage to use up an entire shipment of medicine in less than a week? And now they expect me to snap my fingers and deliver more immediately. They have no idea how much work it is to produce all this.
He was trying to keep a calm expression, but he seemed to be really annoyed by the message.
I can't relocate researchers to take care of things like this all the time. How am I going to solve this? You're the new girl, aren't you? Do you have any practical experience with alchemy?
I do. I know the basics.
It's enough. Come with me.
He hurried down the hallways, and I did my best to keep up as he spoke.
In addition to the research work to find a cure, our center is also responsible for manufacturing and shipping supplies to the field unit. These supplies are simple medicines that they use on a daily basis to treat wounded soldiers. Like painkillers, antibiotics, bombs, etc. Whatever they need to be able to continue with the operations. But it's getting almost impossible to handle these two responsibilities lately. I've warned Callian to be responsible with the use of medicines, but each week they consume what we send faster.
Callian should be the master in charge of the field unit, which was protecting the cities and dealing with the infected who were beyond saving. Also the other love interest. I shuddered at the thought of how horrible his job was.
The problem is that we can't produce everything they need and still focus on research. We don't have enough people to handle so much work.
Master Albion stopped in front of a large bookshelf with some folders and selected some.
Here, this is the list of medicine that needs to be made, and these are the instructions on how to make them. I need you to start helping with the production right away.
Wait, I'm going to do what?
Medicines! Do you have a problem with that?
But I'm a researcher. I mean, I have the skills, it sounds like. None. I'll help with that. I took the medicine list and folders with instructions from his hands. I wasn't expecting to do this kind of work, but if this is what they need, I will do my best. I mean, we volunteered, right? So if this is what they need at the time, let's do it. He watched me for a few moments as I read the list. I thought he was just going to leave without saying anything.
Sorry for asking this so suddenly. I know you just arrived. But relocating researchers who are focused on other tasks to do this would delay our work a lot. And the research is already pretty behind the schedule.
It's okay.
Thank you, Anna. You should find everything you need in the lab. If there is anything missing, you can ask Tessa.
He left the library while I was checking all the information about the medicines. When I finished reading, I went to the lab to start working. As soon as I arrived, I noticed that the place was already clean, but Tessa was no longer there. I started to separate the materials and instruments that I would use. The medicines were simple, like Master Albion said, but the amount that needed to be made was quite big. As soon as I start to work, it was clear that it would take me a long time to get everything on the list done. I was feeling a bit frustrated about this. I expected to work as a researcher and was not prepared to take care of other tasks. But if this is what they need, I guess I don't have much choice. After a few days, I managed to produce all the requested medicine on the list. I was excited to finally start to do some research work.
Good morning, Anna. Did you sleep well?
Yes, but you don't look too good. Are you feeling okay? I like that you can see in her eyes that she's really tired.
I'm not having much sleep lately. Work has been piling up, and I'm having a hard time getting everything done. But I'll be fine, don't worry. Have you finished your work at the lab?
Yes, the medicines are already packed and ready to be sent to the field unit.
That's great. Thank you for taking care of this task. It would be a problem to relocate other researchers to work on this. Here, this is your schedule to start working with the research group. If you have any questions or need anything, just call me.
And that's how my days as a researcher began. But it wasn't exactly how I imagined. Most of my job was to review the analysis that the researchers did of the samples they received from the field unit. I spent long hours in the library reviewing everything and searching on books if similar results have been observed at other times throughout history. The work started to become quite exhausting and repetitive. Hours and hours of research, followed by brief conversations with my coworkers to take notes, but not seeing any real progress happening. Days went by like this, and I saw my colleagues feeling more and more tired and unmotivated. I started to feel quite frustrated by the lack of progress. I was there for just a few days now, but I already felt tired. I had no idea how these people had put up with this routine during the last few months. I was wondering how the situation was in the other research centers. Were they making any progress? Or having the same difficulties as us? During this time, I found Tessa around the library, only for a few brief moments. Each day, she looked more tired. Tessa, are you sure everything is okay?
Don't worry, it's just lack of sleep.
You need to take some time to rest. You can't keep working like this.
I know. I'll try to get some sleep once I finish my tasks. How's the research work going?
We're not making much progress. Do you have any news about the other centers? Do you know how their research is doing?
We don't know anything. The centers are not allowed to share the work they do.
Well, that seems very counterintuitive. How do you know you're not just all wasting time going over the same things and coming to the same conclusions when you could be pooling resources? What do you mean?
The lords who fund each center want exclusivity in everything that is discovered. They don't allow the researchers to exchange information.
Ah, politics. This is ridiculous. We could be making so much more progress if we could share our discoveries with each other.
I agree with you. When the centers were organized, many researchers were really upset about the decisions of the lords. But they had the financial resources to keep this place running. In the end, they always get things done the way they want.
Can we try to talk to them about it?
You have no idea how hard it is to talk to them. I know the situation is not ideal, but we are doing the best we can with what we have.
In the next few days, I had a really hard time dealing with the frustration I was feeling. And the worst thing is that I started to feel something besides frustration. I also started to feel guilty about not getting any results. I felt guilty for the people who were suffering because of this horrible situation, and I couldn't find a way to solve the problem. So I forced myself to spend more time in the library and take books to my room and read at night. I got into a horrible routine of working all the time and feeling guilty for stopping to eat or sleep. This made my mental health get really bad in just a few days. I knew that the way I was working would definitely make me sick, but I had no idea how to solve this situation. As hard as it is to do, when you're at that point, you need to take a break. It sucks because you feel like you're just wasting time, but you're actually doing yourself a disservice because your brain is not it's not working the way it would be if you were well rested and well fed and like taking care of yourself. So you're actually just making a bad problem worse. I won't be able to help anyone if I keep doing this. If I keep working like this, I will damage my health for sure. And if it happens, I won't be able to do anything for anyone. While I was lost in thoughts, I realized that something was happening in the library. I think someone was calling for help. Oh, hi, Archie.
Someone help! Please, I need help here!
I ran to see what was going on and found Tessa lying on the floor and Archie panicking beside her. Speaking of people that need to take a break. Oh no, Tessa! What happened here?
She wasn't feeling well and passed out. Tessa was looking quite tired these last few days. I think she's exhausted from all the work she's been doing.
Oh, Anna? What happened?
Calm down. Don't get up so fast. You passed out.
Can you take care of her? I'm going to tell Master Albion what's happening and get a doctor from the infirmary to see her.
Sure, I'll take care of her.
Did I pass out? Damn, I don't have time for this. There's so much work to be done.
It's precisely because of work that you passed out. You're overwhelmed, Tessa. You need to get some rest.
We can't rest. People are counting on us to find a cure. Lives depend on our work. How can I stop when I know that people are out there suffering?
Well, you are also suffering. You're not helping anybody in this state. And now, because you're not taking care of yourself, other people have to take care of you. Ergo, they're not taking care of... bleh, it's just a big circle, girl. I understand. I feel that way, too. But I don't think we can help anyone if we all collapse from exhaustion. I stayed by her side for a while, and after a few minutes, Master Albion arrived at the library.
Tessa, are you okay? Archie just told me what happened.
Master Albion, I'm sorry about this.
Calm down. Don't get up. Archie is bringing a doctor to see you.
I don't need a doctor. Just give me a few minutes and I'll be back to work.
She tried to get up again, but she looked so pale and weak that she could fall down again at any moment. Master Albion was looking at her very concerned.
You can't keep working like this, Tessa.
But I'm responsible for many things here. The center can't stop because I'm not feeling well.
I'll find someone to help you with your tasks. You should get some rest now.
But we have urgent things to attend to.
You won't be able to do anything like this. Worry only about recovering and get healthy again. We'll find a way to take care of things in the meantime.
I can help with some of your tasks. Just tell me what needs to be done.
I can't ask you to do my job. It's not fair.
Don't worry. The most important thing now is for you to have time to recover. Archie arrived with a doctor who insisted on examining Tessa to make sure everything was okay. I like that I was just thinking to myself, I'm so stretched thin with work. I need to take a break. Also, I'll take on your workload. I'm sure it'll be fine. While the doctor was taking care of her, Master Albion came to talk to me.
Are you sure you can handle some of Tessa's tasks?
Yes, I think I can take care of a few more things.
Great. Come with me.
I followed him to his office.
You may already know that our center is funded by one of the lords of the country.
Yes, I heard about that.
Lord Gavin is responsible for keeping this place running. In exchange for the financial resources, he wants exclusivity in everything that is discovered and produced here. So we need to send him weekly reports of all our research and the progress we're making. Write these reports takes a lot of our time. It's an unnecessary bureaucracy. But we need to follow the rules of the Lord who sent us the financial resources. Tessa was organizing the work of each research team, so that I could summarize everything and write this week's report. Do you think you can do this in her place?
Yes, I can take care of that, but... Why are we doing weekly reports for a lord when we could spend that time working on more important things?
Because we depend on their support to keep this place running. Without money, we can't do anything, but to have these resources, we need to do things his way. I agree that some things don't make any sense. We've tried to talk about it with Lord Gavin several times, but it's hard to argue with someone who just expects you to obey everything he says without question.
There's no way to convince him that we need to prioritize other things? That we can use this time in a better way?
What do you suggest I tell him?
He's not a researcher and he doesn't know what he's doing. Duh. I mean, if the Lord is concerned about exclusivity, then all he really cares about is that progress is being made. So, as heartless as it seems, he probably doesn't really care about the health and well-being of the researchers that much. It's about money. It's about the prestige of finding the cure. So, speak his language, like, hey, we can be the first ones to do this if you give us more time. That we can make more progress if we have more time.
That's what I always say to try to convince him. But he is very suspicious. He thinks that at any moment we can trick him and sell our research to someone else. That's why he always comes up with ways to keep control of what we do here, with reports, frequent visits, and things like that. Anyway, complaining about this won't do us any good now. It's not a very good situation, but we need to keep working as best we can. Can you take care of this task?
Yes, I'll help with that.
You can use my office for work.
Really?
Tessa had already started to work on this. You can find her papers on that desk. I need to check. Master! Sorry to interrupt, but there's a problem with one of the research teams in the lab. They're having a hard time finding some materials. Could you tell me where Tessa kept the lab records? More problems now. I'll go over there and take care of it. You don't need to go. Just tell me where the records are and I'll let the researchers know. Tessa kept these records well organized. I'm not going to let them mess with everything. Don't look at me like this, Archie. It's my responsibility to keep everything here organized. If you insist.
They left the office and I was there alone, staring at the pile of papers I needed to analyze and organize. It was sad to know that so much of our work was tied up in this pointless bureaucracy when we could use our time for more important things. If the situation is like this for all the centers, then I'm not surprised that we still didn't find a cure. I looked around the office while trying to build up some courage to start working on the weekly report. There were a few coffee mugs piled up in a corner of the office, along with books and papers. It looks like Master Albion also had a few sleepless nights. I started to feel a bit worried about the way we were working. Hard work and effort were more than necessary for sure, but the way we were doing it didn't feel right. Most people there were already reaching their limit. I don't know if putting our health at risk by overworking is the best option. Anyway, I decided to do the best I could to help with the reports. I worked all day, but when the night came, I had a hard time trying to stay awake. I must have fallen asleep at some point, because I wake up startled when I hear the sound of the door closing.
Sorry, didn't mean to scare you.
Oh damn, sorry, I think I fell asleep.
It's okay. It's quite late. You should go get some rest.
But I haven't finished it yet.
You've done enough. I'll correct your work and take care of what's missing.
Correct? Master, I guarantee that I transcribed all the data correctly. You don't have to waste your time with corrections.
I always review all the work and rewrite what I think is not good.
Don't you trust others can do a good job?
It's not like that. I just need to make sure everything was done right.
And the only right way is your way?
Why are we wasting time discussing this? I've said you've done enough. Stop being stubborn and go to sleep. I can finish this myself.
You don't have to take care of everything yourself. I looked at the pile of coffee mugs. You also need to rest. From the amount of coffee you've been drinking, it looks like you haven't slept properly for at least a few days.
Did you come here to help with the report or to control how much coffee I drink? Stop worrying about it and just follow my orders.
I was a little surprised by his reaction. He looked quite tired and a little annoyed. I think arguing with him now won't help at all. I'll let you take care of the work, then. Have a good night. I got up and left without even looking at him. I offered to help, but he decided to act like an arrogant idiot and do everything himself. I thought I'd go to my room and sleep, but I got so annoyed by what happened that I ended up going to the library to work on my research. I picked up my books and started reviewing my notes, but it didn't take long for me to fall asleep again. But I couldn't sleep for a long time. Uh-oh. I woke up in the middle of the night with a weird smell. I got scared when I looked around and realized that the library was full of smoke. I saw that there was a group of people in one of the hallways, and I could hear Tessa's voice.
Stay away from the lab area! Please keep your distance for your safety.
Tessa, what are you doing here? You should be resting.
I couldn't ignore the smoke smell, Archie. I had to come here and see what was going on.
You don't have to worry. I already warned Master Albion. He's calling for help.
Do you know what caused all this?
I'm not sure. I think someone forgot something, or perhaps one of the lab's devices was not used correctly. Whatever it was caused a small fire in the lab room.
I figured it might have been something like this. Anyway, it's best to keep our distance. There are a lot of alchemy materials there, so I'm not sure if it's safe to enter.
Let's stay away until the help arrives and check on the place.
We only have a few hours until dawn, Archie. People will soon get here to work and won't be able to use this lab. That means more delays.
You shouldn't worry about that right now. The most important thing is to make sure everyone here is safe. And you know these accidents and delays are only happening because of the excessive working hours that are leaving you all exhausted.
But what can we do, Archie? Do you expect me to go back to sleep knowing what's going on here?
I understand the responsibility we have, but it's horrible to see you guys overloading yourself with work and trying to solve everything on your own. None of you will be able to do this for much longer if things don't change.
Archie was right. The situation was definitely not good. But for now, we'd better focus on solving the most urgent problems. The library was full of smoke, and we could not work under these conditions. Maybe I can help with something. Ain't my division. Sure, I mean, I can offer. If there's anything, I'll do it. Tessa, is there anything I can do to help?
More help is always welcome. We need to take care of all this smoke first. Could you help to open the library windows and doors?
I hurried to do what she asked, so at least the library would be available to use. We then moved the desks in the back to the front of the library, keeping them away from the lab. This way, everyone that was using the library would be able to keep doing their work without a problem. It was already morning when we finished organizing everything. Master Albion sent a team to check the conditions of the lab, and Tessa and Archie went to speak with them. They left after a few minutes, and I approached to see if everything was okay. Is it safe to use the lab?
Fortunately, there's nothing toxic in there that could harm someone's health. After we organize everything, it will be ready to be used again. But the damage was greater than I imagined. We lost a lot of materials and instruments. Not to mention that most of the supplies we were going to send to the field unit were destroyed.
That's too bad.
I'll put together a list of what we need to get the lab up and running again. And I'll have to talk to Master Albion about all the damage.
Let me take care of it. I will talk with Master Albion. Check if we can do something with what's left.
I walked into the lab with Tessa, and she immediately started cleaning up. She already has so many tasks and responsibilities, but she never complains about helping with other things. I didn't want to see her taking care of all that by herself, so I decided to help. Master Albion arrived to check on the situation a few minutes later. He looked around the lab and sighed wearily.
Master,
I know. Archie told me everything. I will inform Lord Gavin of what happened and request more resources to get the lab back up and running. But losing the medicines we made for the field unit is what worries me. I'll let them know that the shipment is going to be delayed. He spoke in a calm and controlled way, but it was hard to hide how frustrated he was with all that.
I'll check the schedules and see if I can find someone to work on the supplies again.
No need. I'll take care of it.
Oh, I just realized he's got the same dark circles under his eyes that Tessa had just a few days ago.
Let the researchers continue their work. They can't stop.
But Master, you already have too many responsibilities.
I can do this. It's easy to make what they need. I think I can do everything with what we still have here. Just let me know when you finish the cleaning.
He left without giving Tessa a chance to say anything, and didn't even look at me in the time he spent there. Like last night, he wanted to do all the work by himself. What is his problem with sharing the work with others? Is it possible that he didn't trust the competence of others to do the tasks?
These medicines are really important for the field unit. I hope Master Albion can make them quickly. It's not the kind of thing we can delay.
Their work must be quite complicated for them to need so many things.
It sure is. They can't maintain operations without these medicines. And if they can't continue, the cities will be totally unprotected.
We both focused on cleaning the lab, and it took us a few hours to get everything ready. Archie arrived when we were almost done.
Tessa, we have a problem at the library! Some researchers are complaining that they can't find some books and notes. It must be because we moved the desks.
Are you serious? Can't they solve this themselves? Organizing the lab is our priority.
They're starting to accuse each other of stealing research.
I can't believe this. How can they act like that when we have so many other things to worry about?
It's exhaustion, man. You can go over there and sort it out, Tessa. I'll finish organizing things here.
Is that okay?
Of course. Leave it to me.
I'm starting to get tired of having to worry about such trivial things. I'm going to scold those idiots. Don't be alarmed if you hear me screaming.
Stay calm, Tessa.
I'm always calm, Archie. I'm tired of being calm all the time. It's ridiculous to see adults making a fuss over such silly things.
She stormed out of the lab, and Archie flew after her, a little worried. It didn't take long before I heard her scolding whoever was making trouble in the library. Tessa was always kind and controlled. It was funny to see her losing it like that. But I think the fact she's always willing to help and never says no is what overwhelms her. Maybe it's a good idea for her to start setting limits. Is that a hint for me to do the same? I focused on cleaning, and a few minutes later, Master Albion got back to the lab.
How's work going here?
Almost done. You can start working now if you want.
Thank you for helping to organize the lab. I can take care of things now.
I can stay and help. Tessa told me these supplies are really important for the field unit.
I don't need your help. I can get things done faster. You can go back to your work. We can't delay our research any longer.
But making these medicines is urgent, isn't it?
Yes. That's why I'll take care of it myself.
But I can help.
But I can do it better and faster.
So that's it. You think I'm not capable enough to help?
That's not what I said. Why can't you just follow my orders?
I was starting to get really annoyed by his behavior. Why don't you control your temper? Why don't you accept some help?
I accept help. Sometimes. But there's no need in this situation. You don't have to delay your work because of this.
What about your work?
I can handle everything myself. Sorry to interrupt, but I think you would like to know that everyone in the library can hear you arguing.
We're not arguing, we're having a loud discussion.
Tessa screamed enough for today. We don't need 2 scandals in the same day.
Scandals? What?
Do you need anything, Archie? Yes, we received a message from the field unit asking about the supplies. They need to get the next shipment as soon as possible. So I suggest you accept the help and solve this problem.
Archie, literally, best wingman.
I can't believe it. They're asking for a lot of things and still want to rush us. We wouldn't have this problem if they didn't consume everything so quickly and if people here didn't set the lab on fire. Are people not aware of all the problems they are causing? I'm aware that we have a lot of people here who are exhausted, and yet they're trying to do their best. And doesn't matter how incredibly good you are at your job. Even you have limits, Master. You can't do all the work alone. I can handle a few more things without a problem, Archie. Oh, really? And when was the last time you slept or had a decent meal? What will happen if the master of this place collapses from exhaustion? Your actions really make me worry sometimes. Please, accept the help and solve the supply problem as soon as possible.
I thought he was going to complain and insist on doing the work himself. But he apparently had no way to argue and just sighed in defeat.
All right. Let's get started with this. Great! I'll let Tessa know that Anna will be working here at the lab today.
As soon as Archie left, he started sorting out the instruments and materials he needed. I didn't really know how to act around him after what just happened. The only interaction we had was when we split tasks, and then we spent several hours in silence. I was focused on my work for most of the time, but I noticed that Master Albion didn't look very well. It looks like he was exhausted and could pass out at any minute. I started to get worried about him, but I put that thought aside when I realized he stopped his work and was looking at me. Are you going to do your job, or are you just going to stare at me? He was definitely in a bad mood. I don't know if he was always like this, or if he was just irritated by all the stress and lack of sleep. You are letting your infusions heat up for too long. What? Your infusions. You're taking too long to complete these processes. I'm doing it exactly as described in the instructions. It will take too long if you do it like this. Let me do it. No, take care of your own job and let me do mine. You're too slow. We can't waste any more time on this. Then stop interfering with my work and worry about yours. That's the problem. I'm the goddamn master of this place. I need to worry about the work of everyone. It's my responsibility to keep everything here working. But nothing here is actually working. Everything is delayed, and we are not making any progress. And there are slow people like you who mess up everything. What did you say? It doesn't matter. Just let me... He got up to reach the vials on the other table, but stopped suddenly and had to lean on the counter to avoid falling. Are you feeling okay? Damn it. You should sit down or you'll end up passing out. I'm fine. I just need a few minutes. He definitely wasn't fine, but apparently he was too proud to admit that even he had limits. Do you want me to call a doctor? No need. Then I'll let Tessa and Archie know that you... No! Definitely not! Don't tell them about this. And what do you intend to do? I told you I'm fine. Just give me a few minutes. This situation is getting ridiculous. Do I double down? Let's do this. Do you want me to just watch while you feel sick? I'll be fine. Stop worrying. Did you eat anything today? I had coffee. Man, I feel that line. Have you eaten? I had coffee. Well, it's 3 in the afternoon, and all you've had is coffee, and you wonder why you're sick. I'm in this picture, and I'm not happy about it. Coffee is not food. You need to take better care of yourself. Enough of this. Just let me go back to my work. If I let you keep working like this, you'll end up setting the lab on fire again. I think you better stop here and go to sleep before you start causing trouble. Why are you so stubborn? You're the one being stubborn. If you don't get some rest right now, I'm going to call Tessa and Archie to drag you to your room. Don't you dare. I won't let you get those two involved. And how are you going to stop me? Do you plan to run after me? You can't even stand. All right then, just don't tell them anything. I don't want them to be worried for no reason. He left the lab reluctantly, but at least he agreed to rest. I kept working for a few more hours until nightfall. Then I organized the materials and instruments we were using and decided to follow my own advice and rest too. Good. I didn't get much sleep last night. The next morning, I went back to the lab to continue my work, and he was already there. Well, his eyes looked better. Master Albion didn't seem happy to see me, but at least he was looking better. Good morning. Did you sleep well? You look better today, so I guess you got some sleep. He completely ignored me and kept working, so I did the same. I focused on my task for a while, but then got distracted by looking at the way he worked. He was incredibly organized and efficient. A good night's sleep actually improved his productivity. Whoa! Who knew? Master Albion was making the medicines much faster than I was. I decided to watch him working to see if I could learn something. I don't know for how long I kept paying attention to him.
You're doing it again.
Doing what?
You keep staring at me. What's your problem?
Sorry about that. I was just curious about the way you work. I'm following the instructions, but you're getting everything done way faster. How do you do that?
These meds are quite simple. You don't have to prepare them all one by one. You can prepare the base all at once and gradually add it when they're in the infusion phase.
He showed me how he was doing it, and I was a little surprised by the way he was talking. For a moment, I thought he was going to talk to me with that arrogant tone, but he didn't. Actually, he seemed happy to be able to talk about his process and share his knowledge.
But it only works for simple formulas. If you try to do this with something complex, you will have problems. Unless you use...
He stopped talking suddenly and looked at me.
I'm sorry, am I talking too much?
No, not at all. It's good to learn new methods to improve my work.
People often say I sound arrogant when I talk like that.
Well, you do seem arrogant in some situations, but not now. It looks like you really enjoy this kind of work.
Yes, I've always enjoyed working in the lab.
Aw, that smile.
I spent a lot of time alone, worrying only about my experiments. But then they thought it was a good idea to appoint me as master of this center. And now I'm responsible for managing all these researchers.
You don't like this position?
It's not that I don't like it. I just thought the job would be different. I was pretty excited at first. I really wanted to contribute to the research and help to find a cure. But as a master, I don't get to work in the lab as much as I would like. My work is more about organizing others and taking care of all the bureaucracy in this place. It's not an easy job to manage everything, and it's completely different than what I'm used to. Now that I think about it, I believe it was a mistake to give this position to me. I'm terrible at dealing with people.
I understand it's not easy, but no one expects you to find the answers to every problem on your own. You can ask for help if you're having a hard time.
I'm always in conflict about this. It's my responsibility to make things work here. Every day we try to work harder. We put extra hours. We force ourselves to stay awake during the night. But still we're not making any progress. I try to solve as many things as possible on my own, so researchers can focus on finding a cure, but it's not working. I don't know if it's the way we're doing things or if it's the time we waste with bureaucracy. The only thing I know is that I can't find a solution for this. I think I spent too much time alone, and I don't know how to work in a team anymore. Or perhaps I'm just an arrogant idiot.
Well, things don't have to be that way. You could accept more help. And trust others. Everyone here is doing the best they can.
Perhaps you are right. I hate to admit it, but you were right to tell me to rest yesterday. I didn't realize that I was having some trouble to focus for being so tired.
Of course I was right.
Don't think I'll let you order me around just because of this.
After this conversation, the mood became lighter and it was easier to work. Cute. We worked on the meds all day, and it was already night when I decided to take a break. I decided to make some tea to help me relax and ended up bringing a mug for Master Albion, too. Here, I made some tea for you.
Tea?
Yes, it's a way to say thank you for what you taught me today.
I don't usually drink tea. I prefer coffee. It helps to keep me awake.
You should try it. Tea usually helps me to relax and sleep better at night.
All right, I'll try it.
He stopped working and sat on the table in front of me.
It's sweeter than I thought it would be.
I like to add some honey, but if you think it's too sweet, I'll make yours without honey next time.
Next time? Do you plan to make tea for me again?
If you liked it, I can make it again.
I think I did. It's weird to stop in the middle of work for tea. I don't usually take breaks.
Having a break always helps me. I can get back to work with more focus when I take a few minutes to rest. And I like tea, especially at night. I like to hold the mug of tea like this to warm my hands.
I didn't know you were cold. Here, it feels better this way.
Aww. So cute. She reminds me of, I can't remember the character's name, but in Black Cauldron, the princess, she looks very much like her, but with brown hair in this picture. I love it. So cute. He set his mug aside and placed his hands over mine. I was so surprised that I didn't really know how to react. I was just silent, feeling the warmth of his hands.
It's hard to hold lab instruments with cold hands. I always use... Anna, is there a problem?
Blush. As soon as he noticed the blush on my face, he let go of my hands and walked away. Ah, double blush.
I'm sorry. I didn't think...
It's okay.
I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to make you feel uncomfortable.
That was weird. I didn't feel uncomfortable. Don't worry. You didn't do anything wrong. I was just a little surprised. He looked away and seemed to be a bit embarrassed by what happened. We kept silent for a while until I heard a flap of wings approaching the lab.
I have a message for you, Master. Oh, sorry. Am I interrupting something? It's okay. Let me see this.
He started reading the message and looked a bit surprised.
It's a message from Lord Gavin. He says he's coming tomorrow for a visit. His visits are never a good thing.
Why does he have to come here?
To annoy us and get in the way of our work. Archie. But it's true! Lord Gavin comes from time to time to see how the researches are going. He won't be happy when he hears about the last accident and the delay it's going to cause. Damn it, he's coming tomorrow morning. I'll need to organize the reports and have everything ready for his arrival.
Don't worry, I can keep working here while you take care of those things. Oh,
Tem Certeza.
Of course. And I'll be able to do it faster with the tips you gave me.
I'll count on you then.
I assume Tem Certeza is Portuguese. I don't know what it means, but I'll have to look it up after. As soon as the two of them left the lab, I went back to work. But I was having a hard time to focus. I could only think about the touch of his hands. Oh, so cute. Alright, guys. I think I'm going to call it there. We had our first cute moment with Albion. I had a fantastic time with this game today. Thank you once again, Lyria, for reaching out to me and asking me to check out this visual novel. I think you did a fantastic job, especially for your very first time. The art, the characters, the writing, the sounds, the music, it's all really, really good. I think you did a fantastic job, and I enjoyed playing through. I'd like to play more, actually, but I can't play anymore right now. But this was just great. I know you asked me to give you some suggestions for what you could maybe try with your next project, but honestly, there's not much. I mean, if I was going to be really nitpicky, I would just say that there's a couple of instances where the English text is not quite right. Like, for instance, the word researches instead of research. But that's like just a couple nitpicky things between the translation between Portuguese and English. You could maybe get a proofreader or two to go through the English text just to make sure that it matches up with English grammar. And also, I would suggest maybe cutting back on the use of exclamation marks. It kind of feels like the characters are screaming a lot of the time. And so when there's something exciting going on or the characters are upset, it kind of draws away from it because it just kind of feels like the characters are always shouting. I'd say mix it up a bit with maybe more questions, use periods, more ellipses maybe. And then when there's those high emotion moments, the exclamation marks will really stand out and convey to the reader that, oh, this is a high emotion situation. Other than that, also, some of the sentences are kind of run-on. So just kind of shortening sentences, having, like, some of these lines could have been broken up into 2 or 3 sentences, and that would make it flow a little bit better. But that's just, like, really nitpicky stuff. I would maybe suggest having a little bit more music, especially for when there's a tense situation. I noticed that some of the times, like the smoke scene, for example, if there was a change in music from the, she fell asleep while doing research and then there's smoke in the library all of a sudden music change would have kind of heightened the anxiety in the reader to be like, oh, there's something wrong here. So maybe something like that. But once again, that's just very nitpicky stuff. I thought personally that this was fantastic, and I am very excited to see what your next project is going to be. I believe it's called Blood Moon, and it's all about vampires, which I'm very interested in. So I'm wishing you all the luck with that project. If you want to follow Lyria as she works on that, I will have her Twitter link down below, so you can follow her there, and I will have the link to this game on itch.io as well. But that's it for me, guys. Thanks once again for joining me, and until next time, I will see you later.